Back in 1968, at the very start, our vicious grandmother forced us to get out. She threw 20 gene of moldy cornmeal on the ground and gave us 4 broken bowls to fend for our family of 4. I picked it up, signed the severance agreement, picked up my little sister, and turned to leave. My eldest brother was so anxious he was in tears. I whispered, "Brother, don't be afraid, follow me." That night, the aroma of roasted wolf meat wafted from our room. The grandmother next door, driven crazy by the smell, came banging on our door, but I didn't even open it. My head ached as if it would split, and a fierce argument rang in my ears. "Child, what's so hard about going up the mountain to hunt?" "Grandma, there are bears in the forest farm. They've killed 3 people this year. How long has our Liu family gone without meat? Are you trying to starve me?" I slowly opened my eyes. In the dim light, corn cobs and dried chili peppers hung from the smoke-blackened beams. "This is the adobe house I lived in over 60 years ago." I touched the hard edge of the Kong, feeling its coldness, and tears instantly blurred my eyes. Outside the main room, the argument continued. "Zhang Haizi has hunting dogs. It's dangerous for me to go empty-handed. You're a worthless life. You can't even get food, and you're afraid of danger? The Liu family doesn't keep idlers. Then why not send Mingfeng? Mingfeng is a scholar. How can we let him do something as dangerous as hunting? As the eldest brother, can't you contribute to the family?" I struggled to get up and pushed open the door. A hunched old woman was jumping and cursing, while opposite her stood my eldest brother, Liu Mingyuan, his face flushed red, fists clenched, and then released. Creak! They all looked at me in unison. My body went limp, and I held onto the doorframe, my eyes fixed on my brother. "Brother!" I shouted, tears falling on the threshold. Liu Mingyuan quickly came to support me. "Little brother, why did you get up? It's cold outside. Go back and lie down." I tremblingly touched his face, his eyes sunken, his face stained with herbal ash from boiling medicine. If this is a dream, I'd rather never wake up. In my previous life, my brother was forced by grandma to go hunting and never returned. When he was carried back, he was covered in blood, and the right side of his body was gone. The same day, my mother went insane, and 6 months later, she jumped into the river holding my little sister. Later, I joined the army and became a soldier king, but I could never see them again. I hugged my brother tightly. His body was warm and intact. "Brother, I thought I'd never see you again." My brother pushed me away and smiled honestly. "The doctor said you caught a cold. Rest a few days and you'll be fine." I turned to look at Grandma Zhou Lan and said calmly, "Come on, let's settle this. Who's been freeloading?" She was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. "I'm talking about your family. One big one with 3 dependents. People are starving to death outside. If you haven't starved, it's because I, an old woman, am kind-hearted." "Really?" I stared at her, my gaze making her feel guilty. "Didn't you shamelessly beg to join us for the sake of my father's 500 yuan funeral expenses and that bit of grain?" Zhou Yinglan's face turned pale, then livid, her expression ferocious. "You sickly brat. How dare you call me shameless? Get out." I straightened my back. "Fine, I'll leave. I want to split the family." These words were earth-shattering. She was stunned for a moment, then laughed as if she'd heard the funniest joke. "You said it. Whoever doesn't split is a bastard." She was more than willing, scheming to herself. The eldest son's family had 2 half-grown boys who couldn't do much work but ate like wolves. Splitting them off would save rations. She didn't want money or ration tickets. She'd give a little grain. My eldest brother, full of worry, grabbed me. "Little brother, don't be impulsive. We're all family." My voice rose an octave. "We treat her as family. But does she treat us as family?" My brother also wanted to split, but he begged humbly. "Grandma, can we not split?" "No." Zhou Yinglan and I shouted at the same time. The corners of her mouth couldn't help but turn up. "Mingyuan, it's not that I'm heartless. It's your second brother who insists on splitting." My brother steeled himself. "As long as we don't split, I'm willing to go hunting." "No," I yelled. "In my previous life, that's how my brother died." I looked at him. "I'll go hunting." "What?" My brother grabbed my shoulder. "Absolutely not. You haven't fully recovered. Brother, trust me this once. My classmate's father is a mountain guard with a gun. He's injured and not working now, so I'll borrow it." My brother was skeptical. "Then be very careful. Don't go deep into the forest." "Got it. After I come back from hunting, we'll split the family." I headed toward the woodshed, but suddenly my pant leg was tugged. Looking down, I saw my little sister Yaya, with 2 little braids, looking up at me. I bent down and picked her up. "Yaya, when did you get here?" "Just now." "Second brother, are you really going hunting?" I tapped her little nose. Yes, I'll get you meat to eat later. Yaya swallowed, then shook her head hard. Yaya doesn't want meat. Hunting is dangerous. She pulled a corn cake from her pocket and stuffed it into my hand. Second brother, you haven't eaten for days. You must be hungry, right? My heart warmed, and I ruffled her soft hair. I found matches, hemp rope, and a pickaxe. Yaya tilted her head. Second brother, are you going to work in the fields? No, your second brother will knock out a bear with one swing of the pickaxe. Second brother, you're bragging. I laughed and walked out of the yard. Yaya, wait for the meat. The sun was high, and I walked on the road to Forest Area 42. In the cold dew season in the northeast, mornings and evenings are chilly. You can't go into the mountains without a padded jacket. Kaoshan village is in the Xing'an Mountains, with mountains stretching for hundreds of miles and complex terrain. Wild boars, bears, tigers, leopards, wasps, and vipers. Which of these doesn't take lives? Villagers only dared to pick mushrooms and fungi at the edge of the forest. Very few actually went deep to hunt. I was in a relaxed mood, munching on the corn cake and humming an old tune as I walked. A quarter of an hour later, a deserted mountain god temple appeared in my sight. The weeds and trees were taller than the temple, giving it a gloomy feel. Inside, a clay statue of the mountain god was covered in cracks, and the ground was thick with dust. The elders said it's better to sleep in a lone grave than in a deserted temple, but I didn't believe it. I bowed to the mountain god, then raised my pickaxe and dug heavily into the ground in front of the offering table. Soon, I unearthed a rectangular wooden box. Opening the box, inside lay a brand new Type 56 semi-automatic rifle, a triangular bayonet, 200 rounds of 7.62 millimeters ammunition, and a military knife. This was a burial spot I'd heard about in my previous life, confessed by a notorious bandit in the Northeast after his capture. I grinned and thanked the bandit brother. I skillfully attached the bayonet to the rifle, strapped the knife to my leg, took only 20 bullets, and reburied the rest, camouflaging the spot. Carrying the rifle out of the temple, I stood tall, exuding a formidable aura. Rustle, rustle. I stepped on thick pine needles as I walked deeper into the forest. The forest was colder than the village. Having just recovered from illness and only eaten a corn cake, I soon felt weak. But this didn't daunt me. I drew the knife and stabbed it into a birch tree, peeling off a large piece of bark. After removing the rough outer layer, the tender plant fibers inside were slightly sweet to chew. This stuff is the little sugar cane of the wild, replenishing sugar and water. After chewing a bunch of bark fibers, my strength was mostly restored. Youth is an asset. After an hour, I'd seen nothing but a few rabbits and birds. People think the Northeast is a place where you can knock down roe deer with a stick and scoop fish with a ladle. That's a myth. If game were that easy to catch, everyone would be a hunter and no one would starve. Suddenly, I stopped in front of a pile of slightly arched dead leaves. I crouched and used the knife to push aside the leaves, revealing a fist-sized hole. I dug about a meter away from the hole. After a few strokes, the soil collapsed, revealing a tunnel with a golden yellow snake coiled inside. It was about 2 meters long and weighed around 3 G. With a swift cut, I extracted the gallbladder and swallowed it. Good stuff. I started a small fire, controlling the heat with pine needles, and skewered the snake meat, which sizzled with oil. High-end ingredients only need the simplest cooking. Delicious. Half full, but the dizziness disappeared, and I gained some strength. I buried the remains and camouflaged the site, then continued on. Suddenly, I pricked up my ears. In the distance came the flapping of wings and the screech of a pheasant. If a pheasant flies, there must be prey. I raised my rifle and walked toward the sound. The forest was quiet, and the rustling of my canvas shoes on dead leaves was very noticeable. But it still alerted 2 greenish snakes by the pond. I was overjoyed, not expecting to run into wolves. The 2 wolves were also overjoyed. A hairless monkey delivered to their doorstep? I could tell at a glance. 1 male, 1 female. The male had grayish-blue fur and was exceptionally sturdy. The female was biting a pheasant, and her belly was obviously swollen. She seemed pregnant. I cautiously looked around. There was no wolf pack, so I felt relieved. The female had to be let go. With the heavy snow sealing the mountain, I wondered if her cubs would survive. The rules of the hunt: don't kill pregnant or female animals. But this male wolf, can't blame me. It bared its inch-long fangs, its green eyes fixed on me. It crouched on its front legs, ready to attack. The female wolf put down the pheasant and circled behind me 5 meters away, trying to flank me. These 2 beasts knew tactics, but I wasn't panicked. I gripped my gun and stared at the male wolf. Suddenly, its fur bristled and it let out a low growl. The female also howled. Attack signal. The male wolf charged, aiming for my neck, its bloody maw reeking of musk. It moved like a blur, dead leaves flying. The female moved at the same time, baring her teeth and lunging for my rear. Attacking from above and below, a tactic that never failed. Too bad their opponent was me. I sidestepped the male's attack and, with a standard thrust, drove the triangular bayonet into its belly. Using its forward momentum, I ripped it open. With a whimper, the male wolf fell 5 meters away, intestines spilling out, blood seeping from its mouth. It was done for. The female wolf was startled. She gave the male a reluctant look, then tucked her tail and dashed into the woods. I didn't chase. This male wolf weighed a good 70 gene, minus the head and skin, at least 35 gene of meat. Enough. I bled it and skinned it. I tied the intact wolf skin with vines, then sank it, along with the wolf meat and the pheasant, into the pond with stones. In this weather, it would keep for 10 days in the water. The sun was setting, around 4 in the afternoon. I carried my gun, took the wolf into the water, and cut a large bundle of dead branches. I stuffed the gun and the wolf meat into the branches. From the outside, nothing looked amiss. I waited until it was completely dark, then went home under cover of night. As soon as I entered the yard, I heard my mother's voice from inside. "Mother, why are there only 2 steamed buns and 2 bowls of thin porridge again? I do the work of 2 people. You want the rations of 4 people for the work of 2? There's no such good deal in this world." The kerosene lamp in the room was dim, like a bean. On the small square table were chipped coarse porcelain bowls, a half bowl of pickled vegetables, 2 bowls of porridge, and 2 black steamed buns. My mother, Lu Hongmei, my eldest brother, and Yaya sat at the table with worried faces. Zhou Yinglan's shadow was cast on the wall, like a demon. My eldest brother spoke. "Mom, you eat the porridge and buns. I'm not hungry." Yaya followed. "Mom, you and second brother eat. I'm not hungry either. Second brother should be back from hunting soon." My eldest brother quickly covered her mouth. "Hunting?" My mother stood up abruptly and demanded sternly. "Eldest, didn't you say second brother went to a classmate's house?" Zhou Yinglan laughed unpleasantly. "What classmate's house? He went hunting this morning. I, the old lady, haven't left just to see what he can bring back." My mother panicked, grabbed a flashlight, and tested it with trembling hands. Her voice choked. "Eldest, why didn't you say so earlier? Hurry to the village chief's house and ask for help to find second brother. What's there to look for? If he's not back by now, he's already fed the bears." Crash. I set the firewood on the steps. "You're the one feeding the bears." Zhou Yinglan's face darkened. "You little brat. How dare you talk to your grandmother like that? You can't write essays, and you can't hunt. Can't you learn from Mingfeng? Tisk, dropping the act, are we? Can't wait for me to die, right? I'll say it again. Split the family now. Stop sucking our blood." My mother quickly tugged my sleeve. "Second, what nonsense are you talking? Apologize to your grandmother now." Too late. Zhou Yinglan was like a fierce wolf, hopping mad. "Come on, you little brat. I'll split you off today and starve your family to death." Bang. She kicked the door and headed towards second uncle's house. My father, Lu Dajiang, had passed away a year and a half ago. Second uncle Lu Dai, 38, had a son Lu Mingfeng a month younger than me. Third uncle Lu Dahai, 35, was idle all day and still had no girlfriend. Zhou Yinglan was the Empress Dowager at home. What she said went. But I didn't believe in that. "Bring it on, you think I'm scared?" My mother sobbed. "Eldest, go talk to your brother. Our family has no labor force. How can we support you all?" "Mom, don't worry." My eldest brother supported her. "My brother and I can earn 5 work points a day. We won't starve. It's better than being forced by grandma to feed the bears." What else could my mother say? She knew well that her mother-in-law was biased. Her own family was like grass, while others were treasures. Especially the precious Lu Mingfeng, who was treated like a pearl in the palm, afraid it might drop or melt in the mouth. But she was just a woman, and in this famine era, raising her children was her greatest wish. At second uncle's house, Zhou Yinglan entered and shouted at second uncle, "Go weigh out 20 gene of cornmeal. Your good nephew wants to split the family." Second uncle was stunned. "Mom, that's too little, right?" Second aunt Huang Huiqin pinched his arm. "Go. Do what mom says, no nonsense." Second uncle had no choice but to scoop cornmeal from the wooden bucket, weighed out 20 gene, and secretly added 2 extra scoops. Daughter-in-law, bring 4 bowls, choose carefully. Second aunt swayed her hips to the kitchen and returned with 4 chipped bowls. Zhou Yinglan said arrogantly, "This is how the family is split. Take these things and get out. From now on, The Liu family has nothing to do with you. My mother was stunned. How many days could 20 gene of cornmeal last? Not even a week. And what did these broken bowls mean? Lu Mingfeng, who had been silent, smiled and took out 2 sheets of paper. Second cousin. Why make things so awkward? Grandma is also reluctant, so I wrote this separation certificate. I took it and looked, my eyes narrowing to slits. This wasn't a separation certificate at all. It was clearly a certificate of severance. We, Lu Hongmei, Lu Mingyuan, Lu Mingzhou, and Lu Xiaoya, voluntarily split from the family on October 8, 1968. From the signing of this certificate, our births, deaths, illnesses, marriages, and funerals have nothing to do with the rest of the Liu family. Ruthless enough, cutting ties cleanly. But I like it. I signed my name readily. My eldest brother signed, my mother signed trembling, and even the illiterate Zhou Yinglan and Yaya pressed their fingerprints. Done. Zhou Yinglan was satisfied, and I was even more satisfied. I took the certificate, folded it, and put it in my pocket. I picked up the cornmeal with one hand and Yaya with the other. Come on, second brother will take you to eat meat. At Lu Day's house, the 4 of them looked at each other in bewilderment. Lu Mingfeng's mouth watered with envy. He grabbed Zhou Yinglan's hand and shook it incessantly. Grandma, did cousin get some game, which is why he split from us? Zhou Yinglan's eyes flickered with slight surprise, her pupils contracting. Can't be, right? That little brat. Can't carry on his shoulders, can't lift with his hands. What could he catch? Hard to say. Huang Huiqin frowned, recalling Lu Mingzhou's behavior just now. The more she thought, the more suspicious she became. I think he probably did catch something and wants to keep it all to himself. Think about it. We only gave 20 gene of cornmeal, and Mingzhou didn't even blink before agreeing. With that little food, how many days can it last? Zhou Yinglan flew into a rage, her nostrils flaring with heavy breaths. Fine, you little brat. If you really caught something and dare not offer it to me, the old lady, I'll have it out with you. Mom, Lu Day, who had been squatting on the threshold of the inner room smoking a dry pipe, finally spoke. Now that the family is split, even if they have meat, giving it to us is a favor, not giving it is their right. I think let's just drop it. Better to avoid trouble. Lu Day, you good for nothing. Huang Huiqin put her hands on her hips and cursed at her husband. You can't do anything right. And you always side with outsiders. Don't you know that respecting the elderly is a traditional virtue? You went to school as a kid. Did you read Everything into the Dog's Stomach? Zhou Yinglan glared at her second son, displeasure on her face. You've lived in vain, not even as sensible as a woman. Daughter-in-law, let's go to his house and have a look. Lu Mingfeng quickly stopped them. When elders have matters, the younger generation should handle them. For such a small thing I'll go. Zhou Yinglan, angrier the more she thought, grabbed Lu Day's ear. See that? That's what filial piety looks like. Learn from him in the future. At the Lu house, inner room, Lu Hongmei sat on a stool, silent, a sense of grievance lingering in her heart. She stared at the meager bit of cornmeal, worrying about how they could make it to next spring. Could it be that she really had to take her 3 children out into the snow to beg? Yaya tilted her little head and asked in confusion, Big brother, what is second brother busy with? Didn't he say there was meat to eat? Lu Mingyuan listened to the rustling sounds outside the main room and sighed. Your second brother was just angry at grandma. There isn't really any meat. We're having cornmeal. Second brother is bad. Second brother lied. I want to eat meat. Yaya looked disappointed and pouted her little mouth in grievance. Who said there's no meat? In the darkness, Lu Mingzhou walked out, holding a set of wolf innards in his hand. Really have meat? The 3 in the room were stunned, their faces showing surprise and joy. Meat? Yaya reacted first, hopping and skipping over, opening her little hands. Second brother is awesome. Second brother is the best second brother in the world. Lu Mingzhou deliberately put on a stern face. Who was it that said second brother was bad just now? Yaya stuck out her little pink tongue, her 2 small hands twisting together nervously. She tilted her head, a sweet smile on her face, and said ingratiatingly, Second brother, Yaya was just joking with you. Yaya likes second brother the most. After saying that, she stood on tiptoe and gave Lu Mingzhou a kiss on the cheek. Ha ha ha. Lu Mingzhou was in a great mood. With such a little ray of sunshine, how could he not like her? Come on, second brother will cook the meat for you. Lu Hongmei rubbed her eyes and said in disbelief, Eldest, pinch me quickly. I'm not dreaming, am I? Mom, it should be real. Lu Mingyuan smiled wryly and scratched his head, his gaze following the 2 figures, one big and one small, as they walked toward the kitchen, feeling it was somewhat unreal. Outside the house, taking advantage of the night, Lu Mingfeng sneaked near the courtyard wall. He didn't dare enter the yard, only huddled at the base of the wall, enduring the biting cold wind. Through the dim yellow light, he saw dark figures reflected on the window paper. From inside the house came laughter and cheerful voices, and he could faintly hear Yaya's cheers. So happy, could it really be me? Thinking that he hadn't eaten meat for almost 3 months, he itched with desire and swallowed several mouthfuls of saliva. Soon, the aroma of cooking wafted over. Are they making a fire to cook? Are they going to steam corn buns? Lu Mingfeng wrinkled his nose and sniffed. Suddenly, he froze. This smell, it's so fragrant. It's meat, no mistake. Good for them. This family is really secretly eating meat. No wonder they tried every means to split the family. You're something, Lu Mingzhou, with those big eyes and thick eyebrows, but you're so cunning. Gulp. As the aroma of meat grew stronger, Lu Mingfeng swallowed his saliva, leaving long strands at the corners of his mouth. This was originally mine. Lu Mingfeng was mad with jealousy, staring intently at the chimney emitting sparks, from which the meat aroma came. No, I have to tell Grandma. If I can't have meat, nobody else will. He stood up and rushed toward home. A moment later, in the Lu family kitchen, firewood was burning fiercely in the stove, crackling, and the red flames illuminated the whole room brightly. In the big iron pot on the earthen stove, there was a gurgling sound. Inside was half of the wolf innards stewing, a full 5 gene. The other half was placed in the water vat, soaking, to be eaten tomorrow. At this moment, the meat had been stewing for half an hour, emitting an enticing aroma. Lu Hongmei was tending the fire, Lu Mingzhou was cooking, and Lu Mingyuan was holding Yaya, watching from the side. Yaya looked at the meat in the pot with her big eyes, stretched out her little head, and swallowed eagerly. Second brother, when will it be ready? My tummy is hungry. Lu Mingzhou pinched her little cheek. Almost done. Wait a bit longer. His ears were especially sharp, and he vaguely heard movement in the house. The fish has finally taken the bait. No, the show is about to begin. Bang. The kitchen door was kicked heavily. You little bastard, hiding away to eat meat secretly, and you don't even think to honor me, your old lady? Zhou Yinglan charged forward aggressively, pointing at Lu Mingzhou's nose and cursing loudly. Old woman, who are you? Do I know you? You? Zhou Yinglan felt like she had punched cotton, light and fluffy. For a moment, she didn't know how to respond. Oh my, how filial. You don't even recognize your own grandmother. You're worse than Hu Er, the fool at the village entrance. At least he can call out grandma. Huang Huiqin raised her pinky finger, her face mean, sparing no effort in her mockery. You dark-skinned auntie, who are you? You dare call me dark-skinned auntie? You motherless, fatherless little beast, I'll fight you to the death. Huang Huiqin had a darker complexion and cared deeply about it, usually saving money to apply powder and rouge. It's said that you shouldn't hit someone in the face or expose someone's shortcomings when cursing. But Lu Mingzhou, with one word, rubbed salt into her wound. How could she bear it? Her eyes wide open, hair disheveled. Her hands spread like tiger claws, showing long fingernails. She lunged at Lu Mingzhou's face, aiming to scratch, pull hair, and bite his arm. Rural shrews fighting have 3 ultimate moves, and it's probably the same all over the country. How could Lu Mingzhou let Huang Huiqin scratch him? As she lunged straight at him, he lightly sidestepped. Having lost her target, Huang Huiqin lost her balance and slammed heavily into the edge of the stove. Humph. Sharp pain came, and she let out a muffled groan, her body arching like a cooked shrimp. As her body started to slide down, she quickly reached out her hands to grab something. As luck would have it, she grabbed the scalding hot edge of the iron pot. Ouch, ouch. Huang Huiqin's hands were burned, leaving 2 red lines. In pain, she quickly let go and fell to the ground with a thud. She rolled around on the ground, her cries sharp and shrill, echoing in the night sky. Oh my God, it hurts me to death. The little beast is killing people. Someone come quick. At this time, onlookers had already gathered around. After all, Kaoshan village had over 100 households. And after dinner, people liked to take a stroll. Today, they happened to catch a big piece of news. The Lu family had meat, and the nephew hit his aunt. That was double the excitement. How could they not watch? Zhou Yinglan, feeling sorry for her daughter-in-law, trembled with anger. Little beast, you dare hit your aunt? Lu Mingzhou rolled his eyes and spread his hands. Which eye of yours saw me hit her? She bumped into the stove herself and burned her fingers. Can you blame me? If you hadn't dodged, could she have hit the stove? Zhou Yinglan squinted angrily, leaning forward, stretching her neck long. You little brat, I didn't expect your heart to be so vicious. You want your aunt dead, don't you? So what if I do? Lu Mingzhou couldn't be bothered with her. Get lost, you old hag. Move aside, don't delay my stewing. Zhou Yinglan's face turned pale, utterly incredulous. Heavens! A scream that shook heaven and earth and moved ghosts and gods rang out, making the eardrums of everyone present ache. No one had expected that an old woman with one foot in the grave could produce such a vigorous cry. Zhou Yinglan fell to the ground, kicking her feet wildly, and after just 2 or 3 kicks, her old cloth shoes with 1,000-layer soles flew off. Her tears came as if on cue, as if she had suffered the greatest injustice. Her hands slapped the ground continuously, making a loud noise. Everyone come and see. The thunderstruck grandson of the Lu family has hit his own aunt and wants to force his grandmother to death. Is there no justice? You ungrateful little brat. You hunted and didn't even give your grandmother a taste. How can you be so unfilial? I raised you with all my effort, fed you and clothed you, and this is how you repay me? You'll be punished by heaven. You're an ungrateful wolf. You've never had good intentions since childhood. Why didn't a weasel carry you off or a bear crush you to death? I've had the worst luck raising such an unfilial bastard. A stream of curses, never repeating, poured out endlessly amid her wailing and crying. It was truly hard to understand where she got so many vicious words. The villagers couldn't stand it anymore and spoke up one after another. Mingzhou, after all, she is your biological grandmother. Reasonably and emotionally, you should give her a bite. You are family after all. It's only natural to share meat with everyone. Don't go too far. It's only right for the younger generation to be filial to the elders. There's nothing to argue about. Seeing the situation turn against him, Zhou Yinglan felt very pleased. She thought to herself that she would get to eat this meat. This is just the beginning. If you have good things in the future, don't you dare not bring them out. I'll make a fuss every day. I'm an old woman nearly 70. What haven't I seen? If you want to fight with me, you're still too young. I ask you, do you still want to stay in this village? Be careful, even spit can drown you. Lu Mingzhou acted as if he hadn't heard, stirring the meat in the pot. Immediately, the aroma of meat grew stronger, and only the sound of swallowing saliva could be heard around. What's going on? A deep voice came, and the crowd immediately parted to make way. A middle-aged man in a blue mouse suit walked over. Swoosh! Zhou Yinglan, as if seeing a savior, sprang up with astonishing speed. Village chief, you must do justice for this old woman. My husband passed away early, my son is useless, and I finally saw my grandson grow up. But who knew I raised a thankless wolf who wants to anger this old woman to death? Sun Dihao shook off her hand with some disgust. Say what you need to say, keep it short. As long as you're reasonable, I'll naturally do justice for you. This old woman is not easy to deal with. She'll make trouble even without reason. Zhou Yinglan was slightly stunned, then started performing again. She complained with tears and snot. Village chief, you don't know? My grandson went hunting today and not only didn't give me any meat, but when I came to ask, he even hit his aunt. Tell me, is that human? Even animals know to feed their elders, but my grandson from the Lu family doesn't understand this principle. She rambled on and on. Sun Dihao, as an experienced village chief, quickly grasped the key point. You mean you want him to share some meat with you, right? Zhou Yinglan nodded desperately. Yes, and also hold him accountable for hitting his aunt. At least he should apologize. He's in the wrong first, so all this meat should be mine. Hiss! The crowd gasped. This old woman is indeed ruthless, trying to take the whole pot. Sun Dihao looked at Lu Mingzhou, a hint of surprise in his eyes. In his impression, this child was honest, simple, and polite. How could he do such an outrageous thing today? Sun Dihao looked at Lu Mingzhou, feeling somewhat displeased. After all, filial piety is the most important virtue. If an elder labels you unfilial, you'll be pointed at and looked down upon in the village from then on. This child will have a hard time finding a wife in the future. Today's incident is a lifelong stain. He still had to do his job, so he cleared his throat. Mingzhou, why did you do this? Because we've divided the family. Lu Mingzhou's answer was very brief. Zhou Yinglan, full of resentment, shouted at him. Does dividing the family mean you don't have to be filial to your grandmother? Does dividing the family mean you're no longer a grandson of the Lu family? You'll be struck by lightning for this. The villagers, unaware of the truth, also chimed in. It's just dividing the family, not changing your surname. Exactly. No matter how you divide, you still carry the blood of the Lu family. Even after dividing, you must be filial to your elders. There's no such thing as not recognizing your grandmother after dividing. Sun Dihao said seriously. Mingzhou, that's not acceptable. Even if you've divided the family, family ties can't be separated. Lu Mingzhou took out a note and read, "What if the family division certificate states, from now on, life, death, illness, marriage, and funerals have nothing to do with the Lu family?" The crowd gasped and fell into dead silence. What kind of family division certificate is this? Whose family division certificate is written like this? Sun Dihao shook his head, finding it too bizarre. Mingzhou, is this family division certificate really written like this? How could it be fake? Lu Mingzhou handed the note to Sun Dihao. The more Sun Dihao looked, the more serious his expression became. His face changed from shock to disbelief, then to anger. He clutched the note tightly, flames seemingly burning in his eyes. Zhou Yinglan sensed something was wrong. She tried to snatch the note, while Sun Dihao was off guard. She bent her legs slightly, leaped up with effort, and jumped quite high. However, just as her fingertips brushed the paper, Lu Mingzhou reached out, took the note back, folded it, and put it in his bosom. Zhou Yinglan was furious and screamed hysterically, "You little brat, don't you know not to wash dirty linen in public? Give it to me." Sun Dihao stepped forward to stop her. "Zhou Yinglan, Mingzhou is in the right here. Don't be unreasonable. Also, who wrote this note?" Zhou Yinglan stiffened her neck and stomped her foot. This old woman, wrote it. "So what? Are you going to kill me?" Sun Dihao didn't believe it. He looked at Lu Mingfeng in the crowd and asked darkly, "Mingfeng, tell the truth, did you write it?" Lu Mingfeng, who was watching the fire from the other side, never expected the fire to burn him. He had planned everything well. Let Grandma fight with Lu Mingzhou. No matter what, he would benefit. If Grandma won, he would have meat to eat. If Grandma lost, Lu Mingzhou would be branded unfilial and looked down upon by the whole village. Then he wouldn't even be able to marry, so why not? But who knew that man proposes, God disposes, and the village chief suspected him. He squeezed out of the crowd, trying to back away. "Stop!" Sun Dihao shouted. "Lu Mingfeng, if you dare leave now, don't even think about being recommended for college. I'll be the first to oppose it. Now that the college entrance exam has been suspended, going to college requires village recommendation, commune approval, county seal, and district committee submission of the list, passing through many hurdles before it's possible." Lu Mingfeng had always been obsessed with going to college and had already submitted 2 applications to the village. Although he had been rejected twice, he didn't give up and wanted to apply again. Sun Dihao's words hit his vital point, and his world collapsed. "It's not my fault." Lu Mingfeng, pale, argued loudly. "Village chief, it was my grandmother's idea. I was just following orders." To save himself, he betrayed his grandmother without hesitation. But Zhou Yinglan was thick-skinned and said, "Mingfeng is right. It was my idea. I'll take full responsibility for any reasoning." Sun Dihao said loudly, "Today's matter is clear. Zhou Yinglan not only divided the family, but also wrote a certificate severing ties. The evidence is conclusive, and there's no denying it. Everyone, go home." Mingzhou did nothing wrong. Zhou Yinglan was furious, not expecting to shoot herself in the foot. Oh heavens! She fell to the ground and started wailing again. "You bunch of beasts, ganging up to bully this old widow. I'll go to the commune and sue you all." "Enough!" Lu Mingzhou suddenly shouted, his loud voice making everyone's ears ring. Zhou Yinglan was startled and weakly stopped crying. Lu Mingzhou stepped forward and cupped his hands to the crowd. "Fellow villagers, I, Lu Mingzhou, am not an unreasonable person. Before, we hadn't divided the family, so I didn't speak out. Now that we've divided, let me state Zhou Yinglan's 3 major crimes. First, she tells everyone she's kind-hearted and feeds my family of 4. In reality, last year she took my father's 500 yuan funeral expenses and took all our grain, saying she would pool resources with us and ensure our family ate well and dressed well. Within less than half a year, she only gave rations for 2 people, and our family had no food from one meal to the next. Second, in the whole Lu family, except for my second uncle, no one works in the fields. My mother earns 8 work points a day, and my elder brother and I each earn 5 work points. So who is supporting whom? My mother also has to cook for the whole family, and if anything displeases her, Zhou Yinglan either hits or scolds my mother. Who can stand such a life? Third, today she forced my brother to go hunting in the mountains. My brother has neither a dog nor a gun. How could he hunt? Everyone knows there are wolves, wild boars, and bears in the mountains. Which of them is easy to deal with? Today, as soon as I went up the mountain, I encountered 2 wolves. If they hadn't been injured, would I have come back alive? Today, when we divided the family, she gave us 20 jin of cornmeal and 4 bowls that are too broken even for feeding dogs, and forced us to sign the family division certificate. Everyone, tell me, how dare she come asking for meat? This speech completely overturned everyone's worldview. The amount of information was too much. This vicious old woman, who always talked about being kind-hearted, turned out to be kind in this way. I spit on that. Forcing her own eldest grandson to go hunting. How can there be such a vicious person in this world? I think she's not fit to be called human, even taking her own son's funeral expenses. Mingzhou didn't ask you to return it. That's true kindness. Zhou Yinglan scrambled to her feet, saw her daughter-in-law Huang Huiqin still lying on the ground, and in a fit of anger, kicked her. Huang Huiqin asked in confusion, "Mother-in-law, why did you kick me? Go home." Zhou Yinglan, feeling humiliated, said viciously, "Aren't you afraid the ground is cold? We'll talk when we get back." She pulled Huang Huiqin, lowered her head, hunched her back, and squeezed out of the crowd like two stray dogs. Ha ha! A burst of laughter erupted from the crowd, making their hurried steps out of the yard seem even more panicked. Sun Dihao solemnly announced, "Today's matter, Mingzhou did nothing wrong. It was Zhou Yinglan who went too far. Everyone disperse." He straightened his collar, coughed, and led the way out of the Liu family. The crowd dispersed, and the Liu family became quiet again. The wolf meat had long become soft and tender. Facing a large basin of meat, Liu Mingyuan and Yaya wolfed it down. Ha. Yaya ate too fast, burned her tongue, and gasped with her mouth open. But she couldn't bear to spit out the meat in her mouth. "Slow down. There's plenty more. No one is competing with you." Liu Mingzhou felt a pang of heartache, patted his sister's back to help her catch her breath. When his gaze moved to his mother, he was startled. "Mom, why are you crying? Eat the meat." Liu Hongmei clutched her chest, feeling it hard to swallow. "Second son, is this wolf meat? You also encountered two wolves?" Liu Mingzhou didn't want her to worry and started joking. "Mom, you really believe that? If I hadn't made it sound worse, the meat would have been snatched by Grandma. What would we have eaten then?" Liu Hongmei's heart was in her throat, feeling breathless. "This is wolf meat after all. How did you hunt it?" Liu Mingzhou picked a large piece of meat for her. "Mom, don't worry. I borrowed a gun from my classmate's father and shot it." The speaker didn't mean it, but the listener took it to heart. No one noticed that outside the window, a figure was silently crouching. The next day, Liu Mingzhou got up early, planning to go to the mountains to get some wolf meat. Suddenly, he saw his third uncle Liu Dahai approaching with 3 police officers. His heart skipped a beat, knowing something was wrong. He had been careless. Just as he was about to turn back, he heard Liu Dahai shout, "Comrade officer, it's him. He's hiding a gun. Catch him quickly." Liu Mingzhou broke out in a cold sweat. He secretly hated his own negligence. How could he forget that his third uncle had a knack for sneaking around and walking without a sound? Originally, today he planned to take some wolf meat to pull strings and get a hunter certificate. With that certificate, he could legally own a gun. Of course, these guns didn't include the Type 56 semi-automatic rifle. He also had to modify the appearance to disguise it as a Type 38 rifle. Unfortunately, one careless move and the whole game was lost. Before the plan could be implemented, he was reported, and he might even end up in jail. In this era, guns were not banned, and hiding a gun was not considered serious. It usually resulted in confiscation and criticism education. But that referred to ordinary guns. If he hid this new military-issue firearm, he might end up eating prison food for 3 years. 3 years. By then the whole family would probably starve to death, right? With his skills, escaping would be a piece of cake, and even if captured, he could break out any time. But what was the point? If he escaped, his family would be finished. It would still be death. The more he thought, the more he felt things were going badly. "You, Liu Dahai, are really pushing me to the brink." Liu Dahai walked over with a sly smile. Second nephew didn't expect this? You hid a gun, and I, your third uncle, am doing my duty to uphold justice." He had stuttered since childhood, speaking with difficulty, known as stutter high. Liu Mingzhou cursed inwardly but kept his expression unchanged. "Hidden gun? What gun? Where's the gun? Stop playing dumb." Liu Dahai rolled his eyes. I heard it last night." "Oh, you must have misheard. The meat I picked up from someone else's trap, and I just bragged casually." "So what? Is bragging illegal?" When it came to sneaky tricks, Liu Mingzhou was no match for his third uncle. But in a verbal spar, 3 Liu Dahais combined were no match for him. The leading officer walked over and saluted. "Comrade Liu Mingzhou, I am Zhao Guangxing, Deputy Director of the Sherbali Commune Police Station. I received a report from the masses that you are hiding a gun, and I came to verify the situation. Please cooperate." Unfortunately, within 10 minutes, 2 officers came out with the Type 56 semi-automatic rifle. One of the older officers reported, "Director Zhao, The gun was found, placed under the bed in the inner room. Click. Lu Mingzhou felt a cold sensation on his hands, now adorned with a pair of shiny handcuffs. Comrade Lu Mingzhou, you are suspected of hiding a gun. Come with us. Lu Dehai was full of pride. Heh, heh, heh. Let you be stubborn. Lu Hongmei rushed out of the house, pale, trembling, and pleaded, Comrade police officer, there must be some misunderstanding. My son just picked it up and was about to turn it in. Zhao Guangxing frowned. Whether that's true or not, we'll verify it. No one's word counts. But Lu Mingzhou was very calm. Mom, go back. I'll be back soon. Lu Hongmei didn't believe it. She wanted to argue further, but was firmly held back by Lu Mingyuan. Mom, it's come to this. We can only hope for the best for second brother. If you do this, you're obstructing law enforcement and might get yourself sent in too. Yaya rubbed her eyes and ran out, just in time to see her second brother being taken away. She burst into tears and chased after him with her little legs. But how could she catch up? The dark green sidecar motorcycle wobbled forward, emitting a roar of the engine, leaving a trail of black smoke. Zhou Yinglan watched Lu Mingzhou being taken away and felt very happy. This scourge is finally caught. Third brother is really resourceful. Huang Huiqin, with both hands wrapped in gauze, endured the pain and said through gritted teeth, this little beast, he should be shot. Lu Mingfeng's eyes flashed with malice, unable to suppress the smile at the corners of his mouth. I've asked around. He won't be shot, at most 3 years in prison. But by the time he gets out, he'll probably be ruined. 20 minutes later, the motorcycle stopped in an open area next to a yellow Jeep, a Beijing 212. Ahead was a sea green house built during the Guangxu period, with a courtyard layout, typical of one main building, 2 side rooms, and a screen wall. The exterior walls were made of blue bricks, plastered with lime, and at the entrance stood a pair of half-human tall stone lions. At the round stone arch entrance hung a metal sign, Sherbali Commune Police Station. Get out. The older officer brought Lu Mingzhou down from the sidecar. In the west wing, there was a small room used as an interrogation room. The lighting inside was not good. On the white wall were written 8 large characters: leniency for confession, severity for resistance. In this era, although the police station had electric lights, they only had small hydropower from 7 to 10 p.m. During the day, they had to open the door to do paperwork. Otherwise, they couldn't see to record. Privacy and case confidentiality didn't exist. Everything said in the interrogation room could be heard clearly by those around. The older officer was in charge of questioning, and the younger one recorded. Name: Lu Mingzhou. Age: 16 years old. Date of birth: October 26, 1952. At this time, in the main office of the station chief, a girl with delicate features and a cold expression stood up. Her black hair was braided into a single plait. She wore a green military uniform, light blue trousers, and a pair of military running shoes. Uncle-in-law, I'll take my leave now. Her voice was crisp, with a faint sense of detachment. Please take care of the bear gall matter. Feng Yuanzheng also hurriedly stood up. Qingwei, you're being too formal. I'll do my best on this matter. Also, give my regards to your father when you go back. Okay. Shun Qingwei didn't waste words. She walked out the door, her stray hair gently flying, like a light chrysanthemum in the wind. I'll see you out. Feng Yuanzheng followed behind her, seeing her off. Suddenly, she stopped and listened intently. A smile appeared on her cold, icy face, her eyes sparkling, breathtakingly beautiful. Feng Yuanzheng was stunned. This lofty flower, doesn't she never smile? She's always cold to everyone. He looked in the direction of Shun Qingwei's gaze and saw a handsome young man who was arguing his case. I've said it several times, that gun was picked up by me. I'm just a student, not in school now, just hunting in the mountains. Is that not allowed? If it's really not okay, I'll just hand it over, right? She asked softly. Uncle-in-law, is this problem serious? Feng Yuanzheng told the truth. To be honest, it's not particularly serious. Mainly, this gun is powerful, and without a guarantor, private use is not allowed. Shun Qingwei nodded. Can I guarantee for him in my own name? You? Feng Yuanzheng frowned. That's not good, is it? If your father finds out, won't he give me a scolding? Uncle-in-law, please. Shun Qingwei showed a daughterly demeanor. Feng Yuanzheng said helplessly. All right, for your sake, I'll personally guarantee for him, okay? At the Sherbali Commune Police Station, in the director's office, Feng Yuanzheng knew he had done the right thing, because he saw a smile on Shun Qingwei's face for the second time. It's been over a year since we last met. How have you been? Shun Qingwei's voice was soft, with a faint blush on her face. Just SOSO. doing some work in the village. Lu Mingzhou felt a bit uneasy, not expecting to meet the school beauty here. Why are you here? You. Don't misunderstand. I didn't mean anything else, just asking. She waved her hands repeatedly, her slender fingers like freshly peeled bamboo shoots, leaving a blur. I picked up a gun in the old forest. Lu Mingzhou frowned, clearly displeased. I picked up a gun in the old forest, and they insist I stole it. I've never even left the village. Where would I steal from? Shen Qingwei's eyes turned slightly cold. Uncle-in-law, is that really so? Feng Yuanzheng was startled. How quickly this girl's expression changed. He didn't dare delay and quickly explained. Misunderstanding, as long as it's clarified. Shen Qingwei raised her eyes slightly and smiled at Lu Mingzhou. I haven't introduced you yet. This is my uncle-in-law, surnamed Feng, named Yuanzheng, the director here. He says it's a misunderstanding, so it's fine. By the way, what do you want the gun for? Seeing that Lu Mingzhou wasn't angry, she became more at ease. For hunting. Lu Mingzhou spread his hands. Without a gun, how can I hunt? He relaxed. He had heard before that Shen Qingwei's family background was not simple. Now it seemed it was very not simple. He didn't think much about it. She was the school beauty, and in 2 years as classmates, they had barely spoken a few words. Really? Shen Qingwei covered her cherry lips, her eyes full of laughter. With your thin frame, you won't get beaten by a hair, will you? What are you talking about? Lu Mingzhou patted his upper arm and did a few flexes. This is muscle, see? You're funny. Shen Qingwei watched his serious expression and couldn't hold it in anymore, letting out a string of silver bell-like laughter, swaying like a flower. Buzz. Feng Yuanzheng felt his head explode. Was this still the ice beauty he knew? So she could not only smile, but also joke. Who on earth is this kid? Can't afford to offend. This gun, I have to find a way to return it to him. But this kid really knows how to cause trouble. Doesn't he know this is a Type 56 semi-automatic rifle? Is this something an ordinary commune member can have? Forget it. For Qingwei's sake, I'll give you a break. He made up his mind. You two chat. I'll be right back. In the office, the atmosphere suddenly quieted, leaving only the two young people looking at each other. After a long while, Shen Qingwei lowered her head and asked softly, Do you really know how to hunt? Lu Mingzhou, having no experience dealing with girls alone in 2 lifetimes, blushed slightly. Why didn't you write to me? Her voice was very soft, like a mosquito's buzz. What? Lu Mingzhou felt his heart skip a beat, thinking he misheard. Right? Right what? Shen Qingwei stared at him in astonishment. She clutched her clothes tightly, and tears of grievance fell. I clearly asked Lu Mingfeng to bring it to you. But I never received it. Lu Mingzhou's head ached, and he suddenly understood why Lu Mingfeng hated him. It's not that serious, right? The school beauty and I are completely innocent, not even from the same world. Shen Qingwei didn't know what she thought of, lowering her head with a slightly cold expression. After a moment, she looked up. Then remember, my home address is. Just then, Feng Yuanzheng burst in hurriedly. Good news, good news. He was panting, sweat all over his forehead, and without wiping it, he gulped down a large enamel mug of water. He set down the mug heavily, wiped his mouth, and smiled. I just went to the forestry station, and they said the winter hunt is coming soon. Then we'll organize hunters to go after the bear. We should have news within a month. A month? Shen Qingwei trembled slightly, trying hard to suppress her inner fear. The doctor said we can't wait a month. We need to find it within a week. But you've been looking for the bear gall for almost a month without any leads. The doctor's 1 week. How can it be that simple? Feng Yuanzheng frowned and gave a bitter smile. Lu Mingzhou looked into Shen Qingwei's eyes and indeed noticed something unusual. In her black and white almond-shaped eyes, there was a faint gray-white scar. During his time in the army, he had studied basic medical knowledge and knew this was an eye disease. Its medical name was corneal opacity, called eye-covering disease in the Northeast. In an era without corticosteroid antibiotics and without surgical conditions, the only option was to mix bear gall, musk, borneal, etc., into a medicinal solution for external eye drops. Musk and borneal could be bought at the pharmacy, but bear gall was not so easy. Bears weren't easy to hunt, and bear gall was even scarcer. Otherwise, why would it sell for nearly 500 yuan? Whether you could buy it depended on luck. Don't worry, I'll go hunt it for you. Lu Mingzhou made up his mind and blurted out. Silence. There was no sound in the office. Both of them stared at him blankly, as if they had I don't believe it written on their foreheads. This was no joke. Feng Yuanzheng lightly tapped his thigh, his expression somewhat grave. A month ago, I asked several old hunters to go, and they haven't even caught a glimpse. I appreciate your kindness, and I'm very happy. Shen Qingwei's eyes glistened with tears, her lips tightly pressed, and she clenched her fist briefly before continuing. But don't take the risk. I'll think of other ways. She covered her eyes, as if afraid Lu Mingzhou would see, and hurried out. Her choked voice came back. Uncle-in-law, I'm not feeling well. I'll go back first. Feng Yuanzheng quickly chased after her. Qingwei, take care. I'll see you off. Lu Mingzhou was dumbfounded. Did I say something wrong? It didn't seem like it. So why did Shen Qingwei leave crying? Feng Yuanzheng returned, holding an object, the Type 56 semi-automatic. He couldn't figure out why the proud Shen Qingwei would like this silly kid in front of him. Before getting in the car, she had specifically told him to take care of this kid. However, their statuses were too different. There was almost no hope for them to be together. Well, with Qingwei pleading for him, this kid must have burned some high incense. He handed the gun over and said seriously, "You can use this gun, but not on people. I've guaranteed for you. If you dare do anything reckless, I'll be the first to arrest you. All right, nothing else here, you can go." Lu Mingzhou didn't expect to leave unscathed, with the gun returned intact. When he walked out of the police station, he felt a sense of unreality. He walked slowly. Along the way, people pointed at him. "Look, that guy's hunting rifle is so cool." "Yeah, when did such a nice hunting rifle come out? I want one too." "Come on, I just got discharged from the army. That's the new Type 56 semi-automatic rifle." "No way? How did he get such a new gun?" "Who knows?" Over an hour later, at Lu Dai's house, Lu Dahai came out with a basin of water and happened to see Lu Mingzhou passing by the yard gate. Clang! His body stiffened, his hand loosened, and the enamel basin in his hand fell to the ground, turning over. The water splashed out, flowing all over the ground, wetting his shoes and trouser legs. But he was completely unaware, standing like a wooden puppet, his eyes wide open, his mouth gaping as if it could hold an egg. "You? How did you get back?" Lu Mingzhou said impatiently. "Are you stupid?" "I walked back, of course." As Lu Mingzhou entered the courtyard, he heard the sound of his mother's low sobbing coming from inside the house. "Eldest, take all this cornmeal to the village chief's house and ask him to think of a solution." "Mom, the village chief already said he can't help with this. He has no authority over the police station's affairs." "Woo-woo, my poor child, what are we going to do?" Tap, tap, tap. The sound of footsteps startled Yaya, who was squatting in the main room crying. She rubbed her eyes, saw who it was, and immediately stood up, jumping and shouting excitedly. "Mom, second brother is back. Your second brother is inside. He must have suffered a lot." "What? Your second brother is back?" Lu Hongmei struggled to get up from the stool and hurried outside. Wow! In the courtyard, Lu Hongmei saw her second son standing before her completely unharmed, and could no longer hold back, hugging him and crying loudly. "Second son, it's good that you're back. Mom was so scared she'd never see you again." Lu Mingzhou's eyes moistened. He wasn't stupid. He knew that if he hadn't encountered Shen Qingwei today, it would have been hard to escape. "Good for you, Lu Dahai. This can't just end like this." But he comforted his mother, saying, "Mom, it's okay. Aren't I back now?" Lu Mingyuan came over holding Yaya, secretly wiped his eyes, and punched his shoulder, saying, "Second brother. Not bad. This gun is pretty cool. Lunch. Still wolf meat with cornmeal buns, and it tasted pretty good." Lu Mingzhou put down his bowl, shouldered his gun, and walked out, saying, "Mom, I'm full. I'm going to take a look in the woods." He had things on his mind and wished a bear would appear right in front of him so he could shoot it down with one shot. But bears, also called batu, weren't that easy to find, especially in late autumn. In summer, they often came down the mountain to eat corn and potatoes and could wipe out an entire field. But in autumn, they started lying in their den, sleeping, only coming out occasionally, so they were rarely seen. In short, he circled the woods twice, and not only did he not encounter a bear, he didn't even see a single hare. It turned out that killing that green-skinned one earlier was just beginner's luck. If he really encountered a bear, with his skills, he wouldn't be afraid. But with only 7 days left, and he'd already made the claim, could he really find a bear? To be honest, he wasn't confident. There were indeed many prey in the deep mountains and old forests. But this forest area, 600 li from east to west, and 1,000 li from north to south, finding prey all depended on luck. Clearly, he didn't have enough luck today. He wandered around until about 4 in the afternoon, and when he saw he wouldn't be able to hunt today, he returned to the pool, pulled up the wolf meat, wolf skin, and pheasants. He cut down a miscellaneous tree to use as a carrying pole and stripped some willow branches to use as ropes, stringing up the wolf meat and wolf head. He tried it on his shoulder, and it was quite steady. The willow branches were very tough. Even one could easily carry 60 or 70 jin without loosening. He carried the load down the mountain, thinking all the way whether he should go ask the old mountain hunters for advice on how to hunt bears. Having good marksmanship but not being able to find prey wouldn't do. Soon, he arrived near the mountain god temple. This was a large area of overgrown grass, also called by grass pile. The withered yellow leaves rustled, and a tall figure was squatting there, busy with something. Mingzhou looked closely and thought, "Oh, isn't that Zhang Haizi, the grandson of 5th Master Zhang?" He immediately had an idea and decided to strike up a conversation. From a distance, he shouted loudly, "Brother Haizi, what are you doing?" He was asking knowingly. In this desolate mountain, what else could he be doing but setting traps? The so-called setting traps meant making snares. In those days, iron was an important resource and wasn't plentiful enough to be used for making wild boar traps. In the northeast, mountain hunters, besides using guns, all knew how to set snares, especially effective in autumn and winter. But when the snow melted in spring, it was no longer allowed. That was the rule. Zhang Haizi stood up, a tall, dark, and sturdy man over 1.9 meters, looking like a bear from a distance. He answered in a deep, muffled voice, "Brother Mingzhou, you're also out hunting? Quite a good catch. You got a greenskin one. I'm just out for a stroll, setting a few snares." As he spoke, Mingzhou had already approached with his load, looking around, and asked, "Why didn't you bring your dog today?" Zhang Haizi scratched his head sheepishly. "Don't mention it. My grandpa mocked me, saying I rely entirely on my dog for hunting. Today, I'm going to prove myself. I'll set a few snares and catch some pheasants to show him." "You call this a few?" Mingzhou looked at his feet, where there was a pile of sharpened branches and a big bundle of thick fishing line, and couldn't help but ask, "Hee, if I'm going to set them, I might as well set more. Not many, just a few dozen." What a talent. Mingzhou decided to go watch the fun. He knew how to make traps, but those were for dealing with enemies. Setting snares to catch prey. To be honest, he wasn't good at it. He walked over to Zhang Haizi, put his load on the ground, and humbly asked for advice. "Brother Haizi, other people set snares in cornfields. Why did you choose this place?" "Hee, you wouldn't understand this." Zhang Haizi pointed at the pile of grass in front of him. "My grandpa taught me that there are grass seeds under these grass piles. At this time of year, pheasants like to burrow into them, so it's the perfect time to set snares. I've heard old folks say that wolves have wolf paths, mice have mouse paths, and pheasants have pheasant paths. How do you spot a pheasant path? It's simple, just look carefully." Zhang Haizi squatted down and pointed in a direction. "See that? The grass pressed down there is a pheasant path. Female pheasants walk with their heads up, and their bellies are low, so they easily make a path. Setting snares on such a path makes it easy to catch them." Mingzhou looked in the direction he pointed and suddenly understood. In the overgrown grass, there was a path about 2 fingers wide, stretching over 300 meters. The grass in the middle was pressed down, and the grass on both sides tilted slightly, so it was hard to distinguish unless you looked carefully. "Brother Haizi, it's getting dark soon. Let me help you." Mingzhou volunteered, as this was a good opportunity to practice. "Good." Zhang Haizi didn't stand on ceremony. "Brother Mingzhou, just do as I do." He tied a slip knot in the thick fishing line, tied it to a branch, and stuck it into the ground, forming a snare. Is it that simple? Mingzhou followed suit and quickly learned. However, he had a vague feeling that something wasn't quite right. He'd heard that there were many tricks to setting snares. Was it really this easy? But since he didn't know, he didn't dare ask. With the two of them working together, the snares were quickly set. Zhang Haizi counted them, 81 in total. He grinned. Tang Sanzang went through 81 tribulations to get the scriptures. Pheasants going home have 81 snares. I'll show my grandpa whether I can catch pheasants or not. In the evening, as the sun set, the remaining glow in the sky was brilliantly red like blood. At the entrance of Kaoshan village, Mingzhou untied the pheasants. "Brother Haizi, take these back. They don't have much meat, but they're good for stewing with some wine to satisfy your cravings." Zhang Haizi waved his hands repeatedly. "No need. No need. How could I accept this?" Mingzhou shoved the pheasants into his hands. "Just take them. Give my regards to 5th Master. I'll visit him in the next couple of days." Zhang Haizi wanted to decline, but Mingzhou had already walked off with his load, so he had to let it go. Under the old locust tree, 4 aunties were gathered together, chatting about household matters. Did you know? Last night, the second son of the Liu family beat up his grandmother and aunt, and he looked really fierce. Wow, really? Doing something like that, wouldn't the police come after him? They did. According to old lady Zhou, they took him away early in the morning, and he'll have to serve 3 years in prison. Serves him right. Any girl who marries him would be incredibly unlucky. They were so engrossed in their conversation that they didn't notice Lu Mingzhou approaching them. Lu Mingzhou smiled and leaned in. Aunt Wang, Aunt Zhang, Aunt Lu, Aunt Huang. What are you talking about? Aunt Wang said subconsciously. We were talking about the Lu family. Oh, Mingzhou, why are you here? Nothing, nothing. Lu Mingzhou didn't mind. He carried the wolf meat and walked home. Under the setting sun, his shadow was stretched long. The 4 aunties looked at each other in bewilderment. Had Mingzhou actually killed a green-skinned wolf? Of course, didn't you see the gun on his back? I mean, this wolf is big enough to last a long time. That goes without saying. Any girl who marries him will be lucky. Aunt Lu, you just said that any girl who marries him would be extremely unlucky. Did I? No, that never happened. You must have misheard. I've known since he was a kid that he would amount to something. At the Lu Dai family home, Zhou Yinglan was busy collecting clothes. When she saw Lu Mingzhou carrying 2 large pieces of wolf meat, her eyes widened, and she stood frozen in place, unable to move. She felt her heart trembling. So much meat, as plump as a piglet. How long would it take to eat? No, all of this is mine. Seeing that he had already passed her doorstep, she quickly chased after him. Mingzhou, are you just leaving like that? Lu Mingzhou didn't even turn his head. What else? Zhou Yinglan followed him, panting. I am your grandmother after all. You don't have to give me all this meat, but isn't it fair to give me half? Get lost. Lu Mingzhou couldn't be bothered to be polite with her. He shouted angrily, startling her into standing still. After a moment, she plopped down on the ground, slapping her thighs and crying out to heaven. Oh heavens! Open your eyes and strike this damned man with lightning. He doesn't even recognize his own grandmother. At the Lu family home, dinner was braised wolf ribs, and the family of 4 ate until their mouths were greasy. Lu Hongmei tentatively asked, Second son, this meat must be about 30 jin. What do you plan to do with it? Lu Mingzhou took a bite of his cornbread and said slowly, Give the village chief 5 jin, and we'll eat the rest slowly. If we can't finish it, we'll make it into cured meat. Ah, Lu Hongmei sighed. Second son, don't go too far. I weighed the cornmeal. It's 22 jin, and your second uncle has been good to you. Then give him 2 jin of wolf meat to repay the favor, and no more. All right. Lu Hongmei nodded, looking somewhat relieved. Then I'll bring it over later. No, I'll go. Lu Mingzhou was afraid that Lu Hongmei would be too soft-spoken, giving Zhou Yinglan a chance to take advantage and cause endless trouble. He decided to go himself. He cut off 2 jin of meat and carried it toward his second uncle's house. At the Lu Dai family home, Lu Mingzhou, from across the yard, keenly heard Zhou Yinglan speaking. That little brat. He's so infuriating. He has meat, but won't give any to his grandmother. All the pampering when he was little was wasted. Lu Mingzhou was stunned. Had his grandmother ever pampered him? Maybe she had, but it wasn't obvious. At least he couldn't feel it. Mom. Why? Are you in such a hurry? It's not that easy. Tonight, I'll sneak into his house and take all his meat and see how arrogant he can be. Yes, that's what we should do. That kid caused my hands to be covered in blisters. I must settle the score with him. Lu Mingzhou turned and left. He wanted to give the meat, but now wasn't the time. If he went in, it would alert the enemy. Good for you, Lu Dahai. You almost got me sent to jail, and I haven't settled that score yet, and now you want to steal my meat? All right, I'll show you what I'm capable of. If the tiger doesn't show its might, you think I'm a Hello Kitty? At the Lu family home, Lu Hongmei saw Lu Mingzhou return with the meat untouched and asked curiously, Son, didn't your grandmother want the meat? She wanted it. Of course she wanted it. Lu Mingzhou said angrily, They wanted all of it. Third uncle plans to come tonight and steal it all. Lu Hongmei was startled. Then what should we do? Should we hide it? Third uncle is used to sneaking around. No matter where you hide it, he'll find it. Lu Mingzhou handed her the meat. Take it to the kitchen. I'll make something to keep thieves away. Lu Hongmei nodded and went inside. No matter how soft-hearted she was, she knew what was important. They only had that little bit of cornmeal. If the meat were stolen, their family would starve. This brother-in-law was truly inhuman. He needed to be taught a lesson. In the yard, Lu Mingzhou found a pickaxe and branches, digging here and knocking there, busy as a bee. At the east end of the village, at Zhang Wuya's house. Zhang Wuya, wrapped in a cotton jacket, sat at the dining table but didn't rush to pick up his chopsticks. He was nearly 70, with hair completely white, but his eyes were still as sharp as an eagle's. He stared at Zhang Haizi, a hint of displeasure on his face. You say you caught this pheasant today? Zhang Haizi picked up a piece of meat, stuffed it into his mouth, and said indistinctly, Yeah, what's wrong? Zhang Wuye's face darkened. Tell the truth. The color of this meat shows it's been soaked in water for 2 days. Zhang Haizi's heart skipped a beat, knowing he couldn't hide it, and quickly changed his story. It was given by brother Mingzhou, but it's no big deal. I set 81 traps today, and I'm sure to catch pheasants. Then I'll return him too. Zhang Wuye's expression softened a bit, and he nodded. It's right not to take advantage of others. You went to set traps, 81 of them. Where did you set them all? Hee. Zhang Haizi scratched his head and grinned. Just at the grass pile near the mountain temple. I've checked it, and there are definitely pheasants there. Just that one spot? Zhang Wuye looked his grandson up and down, especially at his size 45 feet. Zhang Haizi felt uneasy under his gaze. Yeah, why are you looking at me like that? I set the traps on the pheasant path as you said. Did you set them alone? No, Mingzhou was with me. Don't worry, we'll have pheasant to eat tomorrow. Zhang Wuye sighed, picked up a piece of meat, threw it into his mouth, chewed it, and then said, Tomorrow when you catch a pheasant, take a close look at its eyes. Zhang Haizi was stunned, and the piece of meat he had picked up fell back into the pot. What? Can you tell something from its eyes? Of course, Zhang Wuye said slowly. See if it's blind, otherwise why would it fall for your trap?